Hey bestie, hi, how are ya? In today's video, we are going to get into that mid-year freakout tag where I will update you on all the books I read so far this year. So far, it's been a pretty interesting year of reading. So stick around and let's get into these books. So the first tag is best book you've read so far in 2024. And for me, that has to be Misery by Stephen King. I mean, is this really a surprise? Because bestie, you know me. You know that I love Stephen King books. He's the king for a reason, right? It's about Annie Wilkes, who happens to be Paul Sheldon's biggest fan. Paul Sheldon happens to be her favorite author. So when he comes out with a book where her favorite character is killed, she does whatever it takes to make sure he brings Misery, which is the character, back to life. What I really loved about this one is like how complex yeah Annie is. She has like some kind of like mental disorder where you can kind of see that her mood, it just switches. Like literally Paul had to be walking on eggshells with her. It had you like wanting to find out like what more is Annie gonna do and how much further is she going to take things. And I mean, when we think about it as readers, we do fall in love with certain characters, and to hear or to read, put it that way, that the author killed off that character, I mean, wouldn't you kind of feel like Annie? Like, wouldn't you kind of feel like you wanted to get at the author? Even though I don't think you'd want to get to the author the way she does, but you know, we do cry, we feel angry, we're upset with the author at the time for killing off our favorite character. So I didn't blame Annie in that sense, but again, not to the extreme that she went through. Another book that I really enjoyed this year is Bunny by Mona Awad. Listen, okay, this book will have you going crazy. But before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit of what it's about. So in this one, we are following Samantha, who goes to Warren University, I think it is. She kind of comes across these girls there who are rich and part of like this little cult clique, maybe, called the Bunnies. When she gets invited to their little get-together called the Smut Salon, as Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into their world, she kind of forgets everything that she knows, including her friend Ava. It even gets to a point where reality gets blurred. Now that I could go into this one, listen, okay, this book right here, it literally has you as a reader questioning reality too. Is like everything that Samantha's going through real? Every time I talk about it, I'm just like, yeah, I went through like a roller coaster of questions, emotions, and thinking like, is like Samantha dealing with mental issues? Is she on drugs? Is the Bunnies tricking her? What's gonna happen? Like, it just has you questioning reality. Like I said, you know, it literally has you feeling like you're in a dream. Like, is she dreaming this? It's just like literally you're in a fever dream and you can't seem to get out of it because you are so interested in finding out what more is gonna happen. What's gonna happen once you reach the end, like when you start to hopefully find out what's going on. And yeah, this book is just one that I don't think I'm ever going to forget because of the way it made me feel and the way the Bunnies make you feel as well. They're like creepy and literally like walk together and speak together like as one. Yeah, this book is definitely one that I'm just like, it has to be a best book, you know? Next up is best sequel you've read so far. When I first started thinking about this question, I was like, best sequel? I don't even remember if I read a sequel. I was like,
yes, you did, Ginnie. Yeah, you did. Iron Flame, duh, by Rebecca Yarros.
Even though I kind of forgot, like, yeah, I did finish this because I started it late last year. Hi, Mr. Softy. Hi. Yeah. I started this one late last year, so for some reason in my head I was kind of like, yeah, you didn't really read a sequel. But I finished it this year, so it's still counting for books I read this year. If you do not know about this book, I don't know what world you're living in, what rock you've been under, because this is the sequel to Iron Flame. No, this is Iron Flame. This is the sequel to Fourth Wing. There's not much I can say about it because it's the sequel, but basically in Fourth Wing we are following Violet, who is in this like war college. And listen, that war college is crazy. Like, you literally have to go through like trials and try to survive, basically. And what I love about it is there's dragons. What I really enjoyed about Iron Flame is that, for me, Rebecca Yarros did not disappoint. Like, usually I have issues with a sequel, but that wasn't the case here. It was still thrilling. It was still exciting. Yeah, as usual with books, there's moments that kind of like drag a little, but it didn't drag to a point where I lost interest. What I really enjoyed about this one too is the relationships that were in it and how we got to also learn more about the other characters. And yeah, it was just a all-around fun and I loved it. That's all I could say. Another sequel that I read is Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. So in case you don't know, this one is the sequel to the Cat and Mouse duet, and the first book is called Hunting Adeline. So in Hunting Adeline, we are following Adeline, of course, as she like navigates through things she's finding out by living in her grandmother's house. Yeah, her grandmother's manor that her grandmother left to her. So there's like a mystery around like what happened to her grandmother and all the secrets in the house. And we also meet Zaid, who happens to be pretty obsessed with Adeline. And yeah, he's like top-notch assassin trying to save the world, basically kind of like spending most of his time stalking Adeline. We should just say that. In this one, what I will say is that it's not the same like Haunting Adeline, where okay, there's things that happen in Haunting Adeline that can be questionable. However, this one I feel was more dark. There's a lot going on, hence why it took me a while to finish it. I had to take breaks from it. What I do love about it and why it's like the best sequel I read so far, besides Zaddy, besides Zaid, yeah, let's not get into that.
Stop it. Get some help.
I just really loved how the story went and how H.D. Carlton didn't rush into everything. Like, I really didn't mind the fact that this is like almost 700 pages because of how the pacing is and just seeing these characters develop and all the stuff that they go through. For me, great writing. Pretty sad, but still good all around. Next up is the new release I haven't read yet, but want to. I mean, even though there's so many, I went with just 3. The first one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I don't know too much about most of these books that I have here. What I do know about it is that we're following Emma, I believe her name is, yes. And she feels she's cursed when it comes to love. How does she feel cursed? Well, every time she's, I think, in a relationship or something like that, and they break up or it doesn't work out or whatever, what happens is that person goes on to finding their true love. So when she meets Justin, when she meets Justin, she and him finds out that they both have that problem. So they come up with this plan to date each other and see if it'll kind of like reverse, like hit that Uno reverse on each other or cancel out their curse, where then they can find their true love. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be great for the summer because hello, it's like literally in the title, like just for the summer. So I feel like this has to be read in the summer. The next one is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. If you've seen my video of the best books of 2023, well, you would know that I read the first one in this interconnected series, which is called Before I Let Go. That's all I have to tell you on that one, because if you really want to know, then you can watch the video. I'll have it linked up here. So in this one, we are following Soledad, who in the first book, we got to meet and find out like little bits and pieces of what's going on in her life. And listen, again, after the first book, I am pretty sure that this one is going to be another great one, and I can't wait to read it. The next one is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Just like the other ones, this one was one of my most anticipated reads of the year because, I mean, hello, it's Leigh Bardugo. I literally read like all her books and loved them. I don't even know too much what it was about. All I do know, it's written by Leigh Bardugo, and I was like immediately yes, because she's an auto-buy author for me, so yes. But I do know that it's like a historical fantasy, I believe, and there's like curses involved and like, yeah, that's what I know. Yeah, bestie, I'm not even gonna try to explain this because I really don't know. I literally just know that it's written by Leigh Bardugo. She's an auto-buy author for me, and say no more. I could care less to read the synopsis. Next is the most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. So my first one is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And the reason why I got very much excited for this one, because I recently, not that long ago, found out about this one, is because first of all, look at this cover. I mean, who could turn that down? Right? Like, who? It seems to be like a cozy fantasy. And because I have not read many cozy fantasies, except for one that I'm going to mention later in this video, I wanted to give it a shot again, you know, and try, because just because one didn't work out for me doesn't mean that another can't. Another one is part of the Librarians in Love series, and that is The Next Best Fling by Gabriella Gamez. Okay, so this one literally I just found it like just the other day. Again, can you just see, like, look at this cover. Look at that cover. Who could turn it down? Like the pink, how cute it is. You can see that it has body positivity. There's some rep there. And I mean, Librarians in Love, come on. As book nerds, we love anything that has to do with libraries, readers, authors in the book, you know? Yeah. And I believe, I don't even remember too much about what it's about, but I think it might have fake dating or like something to that effect. Listen, I don't remember, okay? I barely read the synopsis because the cover and the title and the name of the series is what had me sold. And of course, I am super hype and excited and cannot wait for Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. Listen, I am literally counting down for September 10. Literally, I've been waiting for this book ever since, I think it was like last year when I came across that the second book was coming out. And I thought it was coming out last year and it didn't. And then I had to wait a whole year. And your girl is just excited. This is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. That was a 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved it. And listen, I am super excited about going back into this world and seeing Lucy again and all the kids and Linus and listen, okay, excited, that's all. Biggest disappointment. Okay, there's been quite a few disappointments this year, but the first one I'm going to name and is How Does It Feel by Jeneane O'Reilly? Yeah. And Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maehrer. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna get too much into these two books because I just don't want to talk about them again. So you know what? You can see this video up here, which was my April wrap-up video, I believe. Yeah, I think so. But anyways, it'll be up here. You can check that out and hear everything, me rant and rave about these books. So one book you didn't get to hear about is The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. And listen, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Like, literally, it was the first book I started with this year, and it was a DNF. It was a DNF. Here's the thing. I couldn't get into the writing style. I kind of felt like it was overwritten and melodramatic. It was pretty repetitive while also being confusing. It has like biblical references in it. I just didn't understand how that tied into everything. It just made me very disinterested. And mind you, it's not because of the biblical references, because I've read books with biblical references. It's just one of those things that if you don't know the Bible like inside out, you're not gonna know what's happening. And that's how I felt. And trust me, it has nothing to do with the fact that there's some religion in here, because I am a believer. It just literally had to do with the fact that it just made it very confusing for me. Then the other thing is that there was like so many point of views switching back and forth that I just felt like whiplash every time from these point of views, because there was just too many. I really couldn't connect with the characters, and there was just too much tell and no show when it came to the characters and like what was going on in the romance and this, that, and the third. But yeah, that's enough talking about this. Let's get to the next one. Next is The Biggest Surprise. So the book that just had me so surprised by how much I loved it is Bunny. Duh. And the reason for that is because so many people didn't like it, and like a lot of the ratings were like bad and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, oh boy, I wonder if I'm gonna like this. And then people didn't understand it too, which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, there are parts where you're just like, huh? For me, it wasn't more of a huh, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but it was more like, huh, this is really happening? Is this for real? Yeah, that's why I found this to be the biggest surprise, because I was more so like scared that I wasn't gonna like it because the way everybody else reacted to it. And then I really like this book and I love it, and love it enough that I want to see if I read it in October, because I feel like this would be great to read in October and then annotate it. Since I was so like intrigued by this story and the way it made me feel and all the questioning I had behind it, I dived into a rabbit hole and started like looking up what other people had to say, and the information I found was quite interesting. So I want to kind of dissect this book with a different lens, but still enjoy the roller coaster ride that it takes me on. Favorite new author, debut, or new to me? So far, I don't think I fully have like a favorite just yet, but what I will say is most likely Kennedy Ryan is making her way to not only be a favorite author, but to be an auto-buy author. And I do kind of have quite a few of her books. So yeah, but now that I read 2 books from her, which was, as you can see, is displayed on my shelf, Before I Let Go, and I read Long Shot this year and enjoyed both of them, I kind of feel like she's sneaking up on me, you know? So she just might become a favorite author. So I guess you'll have to see if that's the case. Maybe by the end of the year. Newest fictional crush. I really didn't have like anybody that came to mind that was like totally swoon worthy. But then I remembered that I finished Hunting Adeline this year. So I mean, of course, it has to be Zade Meadows. I mean, yeah. I mean, I just really love him. And yeah, he's a little questionable, and that might say a lot about me, but I think if you've been here for a while, then you know me, bestie. You know I'm unhinged and a little crazy and have weird taste in men. And if you're new here, hi, how are ya? I guess you just heard about me. And if that says something about you too, then you're in the right place. Another one that I felt like I did like swoon for a bit and liked him and maybe, yeah, had a little crush on him is Stone from Take the Lead by Alexis, Daria. And yeah, what I really loved about this, and I'm not gonna go too much into it because this will be in my June wrap up video. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe, and yeah, make sure you stick around to watch. But anyways, yeah, going back to the crush, I really enjoyed Stone as a character. There was parts in here and like the stuff that he did for Gina and how he supported her. And yeah, I think he was one of my crushes this year because I really enjoyed reading about his character. Newest favorite character. To be honest, bestie, I don't think I found one yet. Yeah, I haven't met any. So let's go to the next one. Book that made me cry this year. It's funny because I initially had one, but I'm just remembering that there's actually another one. But let me go into the first one. And that book is House of Earth and Blood. Better known as Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And listen, let me tell you. Okay, it didn't break me like Kingdom of Ash. If you know, you know. If you want to see Kingdom of Ash breaking me apart, chewing me up, spitting me out, backing up on me with a bus, hitting me, whatever you want to call it, it was emotional damage. Okay, I do have an older video, so you can check this video out. But yeah, this one, it did have me with the ugly cry face and then trying to hold back my tears, and then the tears came flooding out. The relationship between Bryce and Danica, I don't know, it just did something to me. And even though stuff happens and you don't really get to find out so much about Danica, but I don't know, there's just something about, I guess, Sarah J. Maas writing where she does tell you and then sprinkle things along, and then you get to see that character as they grow and the pain they go through and like how they feel about themselves, that towards the end when she throws everything at you, you can't help but feel something, you know? And yeah, this book made me cry. Then the other one that I remembered made me cry, surprisingly, because I was not expecting this at all, is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. And you know what? Come to think of it, because the first one also made me cry, like, and did some emotional damage, I should have kind of figured that Miss Rebecca here was going to come through and make you cry again. And that's what she did in this one. And I can't say what happens because, listen, bestie, if I cried, you're gonna cry with me. So if you haven't read this one, read it. And then let me know if it made you cry. And if it didn't, well, I don't blame you, because again, I'm still surprised by who the character is and the fact that that character made me cry. We'll just leave it at that. Did you really expect me to spoil it for you? No, because I want to see you cry and see you go through emotional damage, just like me. A book that made me happy this year, to be honest, wasn't a lot of them. Yeah, is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I don't have the book yet, but I do have it on my wish list. Hint, hint. I need the book trophy because this one is actually one that I want to own. I really enjoyed my time here. Like, this one is basically about Max and I forgot the FMC's name, but we'll just put it right here when I look it up as I'm editing. Imagine you getting married, right? And then you have these people that object, you know, like the people that's like, when the priest is like, or the judge, whoever's marrying you, says like,
is there anyone in this room that objects to this marriage, that doesn't want this marriage to happen? Please stand now or forever hold your peace.
Imagine like that happening, and then somebody standing up and saying, I object. I don't want these two to be married because I'm gonna spill some tea about your wife or your husband or whatever. Yeah. I really loved The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, and that was actually my first Lynn Painter book. And you know what? Come to think about it, Lynn Painter is another one that I should have mentioned with Kennedy Ryan. She just might be an auto-buy author and a favorite author as well, because I really enjoy her writing. It just flows. She's funny. The characters and the banter is so good. And it really made me happy because I guess the drama in it, and then the tea with the, with the people that's getting married. This one definitely had me laughing and just having so much fun, and it made me happy. Oh, and listen, you know what? Another one that also made me happy is How Does It Feel by Jeneane O'Reilly. I know, right, bestie? Surprise, surprise. But you know what? It made me happy that it was over. I don't know if you was expecting me to say something good about it, like, you know, after a month or two, I think it is now, from reading it. I'm pretty sure you was probably like,
Bestie, what? You like that book? Oh my God, what is it that you found out or thought about that you liked?
yeah, no, I was just happy that it was over. Plot twist on this tag. Favorite book to film adaptation? None, because I haven't seen any. And it's so funny because last year, because I loved Jay-Z, not Jay-Z, come on, that's the whole rapper, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was a favorite book of mine as well. And you can find that out if you want to know more information about it in the best books I read this year, well, last year video. I was ranting and raving last year about, oh, now that I read the book, I can watch the movie. That didn't happen yet because I'm someone who doesn't really watch things like that. So yeah. And if I do watch something or binge something, it's usually like horror, like, you know, Halloween, hello, you know, my lovely Michael Myers here. I will sit there and watch the whole series of all his movies. But for the most part, I don't really watch anything. And then sometimes I will binge Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, I'll binge those, binge Gilmore Girls. Okay, you get the point, right? Yeah, there's just none. Let's just move to the next one. The most beautiful book I bought or received this year has to be Lore of the Wilds by Analeigh. Sbrana. Yeah, this. And hopefully you can see. It's just so beautiful. It's the Fairy Loot exclusive copy that I get monthly in my Romantasy Book-Oni box. And listen, this was a book that I was also excited to read this year. I was super excited for this book, and I still am excited for this book. And my plans are to read this during the fall because it's like cottage core, and like, I don't know, it just gives off fall vibes. I mean, look at the back too. Come on, doesn't that give fall vibes? Like mushrooms. Enough said. Yeah, this is the most beautiful book. Oh, I forgot to show the stencil. Yeah, most beautiful book is this one. Books that I want to read by the end of the year. All right, so it's a lot of them, right? I have a whole TBR knockout with books that I want to read this year. Does that always happen? No, because I'm a mood reader and I go based off my mood. However, I have been doing good. And these are actually part of my TBR knockout challenge. And one of them is The Tiger's Daughter by Arsenault Rivera. This one has been on my TBR for a while and I've always been interested. It's a Latinx author, so yes. And I really don't know too much about it. I just know that it's, I think, a high fantasy and there's like poison that's spreading across the land and you gotta figure they gonna stop it, right? Yeah. You're probably like, Ginnie, wow, what a synopsis, but hey, you've been here a while, so you should know the way it works here. Another one I want to read is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. And all I know about this one is, firstly, it's a dark romance and it's something with baby shark, move over because daddy shark is here. So yeah. The good thing is I'm going to be reading this literally with my Patreon in the... Let's try that again, because that was giving this. So let's try that again. Yeah, in the Deliciously Dark book club that's in my Patreon. Yeah, it's a book club where we read, you know, basically all things adult, dark, fun, like horror, thrillers, this. So we're reading this next month, so I am super excited because, first of all, I love H.D. Carlton, okay? Actually, she's my favorite author. So I do actually have like a favorite that I decided became my favorite, and that's H.D. Carlton. But anyways, we already went past that, but the point is, yeah. Oh, and she's also Latinx, Puerto Rican. I just found that out while I was on a live with her. Yes, amazing. I got so excited when she was like, yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. I was like, yes, a favorite author of mine is Puerto Rican. Love it. And she's unhinged and crazy like me. Love it even more. But anyways, yeah, I'll be reading this one soon. Another one I'm excited to read in the fall, because this is part of my fall plans, is The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. And yes, that came out beautifully. Very Latina spoken. Canas. Yeah. Anyway, so for this one, all I know is that it's set in the the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence. And it's like historical fiction mixed with horror because there's like something sinister going on. And it's taking, what's her name? Who are we following? Beatrice, I think. That's the name I see here, so we're just gonna roll with it, okay? And it's pulling her into its clutches. And listen, I am so excited. Another Latinx author. What? I didn't even realize I did that, but yeah, another Latinx author, and I can't wait because I have so many plans for the fall. And yeah, super excited to read these very soon, and super excited for the fall because I am hot. Like, bestie, I'm here dying. I'm here dying because the fan is off and I have to have it off, because if not, you're gonna hear it in the video and it's not cute. It's not cute. But then it's like, I'm here dying for you. So yeah. Because I love drama, tell me what book disappointed you the most this year. Comment down below and don't forget to hit that like button. Stay lit. I love you and thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.